The developers have confirmed the next 2 updates for the next 2 weeks. On the 23rd of April, we're going to get a Ducky DJ drop. Now, this is only listed as v1.62.0 and lasts from the April 23rd to April 30th. But yes, this does confirm that there's going to be a Ducky DJ booth skin, more on that later. And in v1.63.0, there's going to be a Swimmer rework. This is on the 30th of April, in 2 weeks' time. Now, there was a kind of mini rework for the Swimmer previously, this year, I believe. However, I saw that as an interim solution before the main Swimmer rework, which was heavily overdue, I can't lie. Because right now, yeah, the Swimmer can be good sometimes, but it feels like it's a botch job after botch job after botch job. And the current bot job kind of works, but it's not too OP. However, with this Swimmer rework, I expect them to entirely rewrite the code and make it so that the upgrade descriptions for the Swimmer actually make some sense. Probably assigning the damage to the Swimmer as like the actual damage that you can physically see, rather than it being hidden behind the upgrade description that you can only see on the wiki. In the news section of the update, the current update, v1.61.0, they mention a Ducky DJ booth mission quest, so obviously that's going to be coming forth as a mission quest, but they also mention a revamped Swimmer tower. So yes, this rework likely also changes the model of the Swimmer. Do bear in mind that not all tower reworks get a complete rework or complete remodel of the tower. For example, the Archer, that got a rework, but it didn't get a complete remodel of its tower. Whereas the Frost Blaster did, so did the Slasher. But given the fact that the Swimmer is one of the oldest towers in the game, and it looks dated, especially because it's bold, a tip, by the way, to determine if a tower has been reworked recently or not, it's bold. Okay, maybe not the Commander. The Commander, I realise, is also a bold tower. But other towers, they usually have hair on their default skins, or a cap to hide their bald spots. For example, the Scout has a cap, the Soldier has a cap, which they all got after they were reworked. You know, the Paintballer hasn't got a cap. The Medic is excluded because it's kind of old. And the Pyromancer hasn't got a remodel since forever. And yes, the Scarecrow skin is still bad as ever on the preview. Meanwhile, as for the Ducky DJ booth mission quest, obviously it's going to be a limited time quest, probably alongside the other quests that appear here. But I suspect the amount of quests that you can get from the mission quest are going to increase by 1 to 7, whereas there's going to be a DJ Ducky skin to the far right, far left, sorry, I don't know my lefts and rights, here, which you'll be able to complete starting from the 23rd of April 2025. Now, I don't know if it'll be a limited time to actually complete the missions, given the fact that the last mission quests for the Core Blocks event, and that had a limited time, and after that, the developers decided to cancel your contract in a very glitchy way, because if you didn't complete the contract when the contract ended, because the developers removed it, you were glitched in that you couldn't accept another contract, which sucked. I don't know if they ever fixed that. I haven't seen any complaints about it recently, so I would imagine they have. But I don't know if they'll allow people with the Ducky DJ booth to have it like previous mission quests, like the Firework Technician, where you could have unlimited time to complete the mission quest, so long you actually activated it before the contract actually ended. And I don't know how long the contract will last, probably up until the end of the Easter event. Do bear in mind that the Ducky Revenge Battle Pass likely does not end when the Ducky Revenge event ends. We had this problem with the Frost Invasion event. The Frost Invasion event ended, I believe, like 3 or 4 weeks earlier than the Battle Pass. Now, this isn't an issue in terms of, with the Ducky Revenge event, the best way to grind out eggs isn't actually, I believe, to be in easy or hard mode of bathroom, whatever the map's name called is. It's actually going to be in either intermediate mode if you can't beat Fallen mode. Oh, and I don't expect the developers to do a 2x Battle Pass boost anytime soon, by the way. They only did that in the Halloween event to get up their numbers. I haven't seen them do that for the weekend so far. I could be wrong because it's being recorded before the weekends, but I don't suspect they'll do that, given the fact they didn't do that for the Operation Ice event. Now, with the recent skin for the plush, the Ducky plush that has recently been released, Below Natural has said that this is for the Cowboy. Obviously, by the time this video comes out, this would have been redeemed for the Cowboy. One of the questions that people have asked is that why isn't it for the Brawler, for example? Below Natural has said that this is mainly to allow users to easily redeem the code, because not a lot of people have the Brawler since it's a hardcore tower. So I guess props for the developers for making the skin more accessible to players. Then again though, you do have the plushie Accelerator and the plushie Engineer. Furthermore, Below Natural has accidentally teased an upcoming feature in the next few updates, being that they're doing a turret rework, so they need to wait on that update before they add any new skins for the turret tower. This is in response to someone saying that the turret should have gotten the new skin for the Mecha Bunny skin, or Mecha Bunny plushie. Honestly, I kind of hear it, because the turret, this is the oldest model in the game, because it's not been updated since 2019. The XR500 skin and the XR300 skins, they were added, I believe, in 2020, and they haven't been updated since. So the turret is actually one of the oldest towers in the game not to have a remodel, and I would suspect, based on what Below Natural has said, you need to wait until the turret has been reworked before they add new skins for it. I suspect the turret model is actually going to change. This is major news, given the fact that this is the oldest tower in the game that hasn't changed, appearance-wise, since 2019. The only other tower that hasn't done this is the Medic. And even that technically has changed in 2020 when it changed skin color, whereas the turret, it's not changed model at all. It still has a yellow skin for the XR500 turret. I suspect that this will change. Not so sure about the crossbow, because the crossbow does look like a modern tower. But if the turret is like reworked, for example, and it completely changes statistics, maybe the crossbow turret will be reworked so that it follows suit of that. Back to the Swarmer rework, I do suspect that they'll release a game pass for the Swarmer tower, given the fact that this is, I believe, the oldest tower, event tower, that has not got a Game Pass release since the events, because the last oldest would have been the Commando Tower, and that has since gotten a Game Pass. It was actually the only event tower not to have a Game Pass until quite recently when it was reworked in 2024. I believe the Swarmer should get a Game Pass release, given the fact that Game Pass releases for the Swarmer have been planned, but because it's such a broken tower, the developers have decided it's not worth the effort for players getting a Robux tower, for example. They don't want people to see a broken mess of a tower that is currently the Swarmer. Now, I do suspect that the Swarmer is going to get nerfed from its current state right now. In its current state right now, it is one of the most effective towers to use for DPS, especially against bosses. I just think it's going to get completely changed from that. It's not going to work like the 2021 to about 2023 glitch. It's not going to work as it currently does right now. It's going to get completely hammered in this rework. I just hope it's still going to be somewhat powerful enough that people may consider using it. Because, I mean, like, something like the Commando, right? It may not be meta, but at least people still find it somewhat useful. The Swarmer, they might rework it to be something like the Gladiator, where no one finds it worthwhile anymore. I would still think that they'll keep around the stinging niche for it, given the fact that it's the only tower with such stinging animations, even after 4 or 5 years of new towers being released into the game, especially event towers. But hopefully, this is being reworked to a tower that is not totally ravaged by glitches, as it currently is right now. As for the price of the Swarmer in the rework, I don't know. Given the fact that it's an old tower, maybe I'm suspecting about 600, 700 Robux. The current Biologist goes for 849. I don't think it'll be as expensive as this. But if the developers were looking at their profit margins, maybe they'll go for 850 or 849, the same as the Biologist. However, I'm thinking 799 is the most likely price that they'll put for the Swarmer if they want to maximize profits. If they are more generous, I'm thinking 599 or 699, because I do believe that the developers are going after psychological pricing. Speaking of which, developers, can you like update the description for the Biologist? The current description of Spring 2025 Event Tower looks a little boring. With such character, such as a Biologist, right? It should deserve a better description. Totally no bias whatsoever. I definitely do not have a degree in biology. However, this is only assuming that it is going to get a rework. For example, when the Toxic Gunner was reworked back on the 26th of March 2025, it wasn't released alongside its Game Pass. That being said, though, it was reworked in the 24th of November 2023, where it was released alongside its Game Pass, and perhaps it was a little bit too close to the 26th of March, so they decided, okay, most people probably got it in the first rework, let's not bother with the releasing of the Game Pass again. I imagine with such an old tower such as the Swarmer being the last event tower not to be in current sales since the Chiromancer tower, and I believe even the Chiromancer has been in sales, so like you're looking at Hallowpunk and Harvester, which are pretty new towers, it would probably likely be a Game Pass release. Obviously, you'll get people who think they're OGs who say that you shouldn't be releasing old towers for Game Passes for Robux, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you'll be having new people come to the game saying that it should be released as a coins tower. So at both ends of the spectrum, you're pissing people off. At the end of the day, it's the developer's choice what they want to do with event towers, old event towers, whether they want to have the fear of missing out to make sure that new events are constantly being played, or if they want to sell old event towers for some quick money. And time again, they keep selling old towers for the money. Don't really understand why other people having the tower affects you in any way whatsoever. I don't even get that argument was by people saying that it determines whether you're an old player or not. I don't really care. That doesn't really determine how good you are at the game. I don't really care too much. It's just a tower at the end of the day. So I'm sure this is going to spark a lot of debate.